A Plaguelands Media production.
Hey everyone, this is Hugh from Plaguelands Media bringing you not necessarily a book review today, but kind of a book playthrough, which, yeah, you'll get it. Now, those of you that have watched the channel, those of you that know me, know that I'm a huge fan of fighting fantasy. These were game books back in the day, written by Steve Jackson and Ian Livingstone. Things like Legend of the Shadow Warriors, Trial of Champions, and of course the very first Final Fantasy game book I ever owned, Phantoms of Fear. Now, these are books where you create a character through random dice rolling, and it is almost like a choose your own adventure. You kind of read a paragraph or whatever, get some choices, move to the next one, and the story plays itself out. They are absolutely fantastic, and as a kid, I could not get enough of them. Now, they're branching out a little bit. I have a couple of the Marvel Multiverse missions. I have the Moon Knight Age of Anubis and She-Hulk Goes to Murder World. These are kind of the same thing, but set just with like the Marvel characters. So I was fucking delighted when I discovered that they were doing this with the Arkham horror series, with the first one being The Darkness Over Arkham. Now, for those of you that don't know what the Arkham horror series is, it's a series of kind of board games and card games released by Fantasy Flight. You've got like Arkham Horror, I believe it's 3rd edition now. Eldritch Horror, you've got Arkham Horror, the living card game. A whole lot of stuff. You've got novels that kind of deal with the universe of H.P. Lovecraft. And now we have a fighting fantasy version, pretty much. What's cool about this is there are 3 pre-generated characters you can use at the beginning. We have Agnes Baker, the waitress. These are characters that you've seen in the games before. Nathaniel Cho, the boxer, and Rex Murphy, the reporter. If you don't want to damage your book, you can go to their website and actually print out character sheets, which I have done for the character that I will be playing in this playthrough. And they also have other characters that you can use. You don't have to use the 3 that are in the book. You can go and kind of use your own. There is also a blank character sheet that you can use to create your own character, which is really, really cool. So this book arrived yesterday. I have read the rules, but I have read nothing else in it. So I will be playing it for the first time along with you kind of listening to it. So this will be a spoiler-filled playthrough. If you don't want this book spoiled for you, turn the video off and go and watch another Plaguelands Media video. But we are going to actually play through The Darkness Over Arkham. Now, the rules are pretty simple. It's 6-sided dice, like all the Arkham games. And you roll and add up and kind of see what you get. All of that will be done on camera as I read through the book itself. So please sit back and enjoy the playthrough of The Darkness Over Arkham by Jonathan Green on the next episode of...
Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. Read a fucking book. People.
Okay, so this is The Darkness over Arkham. I will be playing today as one of the characters from the book, Rex Murphy. The reason being, in Eldritch Horror, Rex Murphy is just an absolute shit to play as, but I love the character so much. He is a reporter. We can see here he has a willpower of 3, intellect of 4, combat of 2, and health of 6, sanity of 9. Now it says with the rules, if your health falls below 0, you will suffer a penalty equal to it when you use your combat value. So if your health is at -1, you lose 1 to your combat value, and it's the same with sanity. He starts with 1 clue. His starting item is the reporter's notebook, which gives him kind of 1 clue to begin with. His abilities, he is a reporter. If you roll a 6 when using your intellect, gain 1 clue. Other starting abilities has Seeker. And his major weakness, he is cursed. If you roll a double when using your intellect or willpower, then each dice becomes 1. And his other weakness is cursed. So that is Rex Murphy. I will be using today, you need 6-sided dice. I'll be using these fantastic Arkham Horror dice. There's an Elder sign on the 6 and the 5, and then the rest of them are normal. These are the dice I use whenever I play Arkham Horror or Eldritch Horror. I have my bad decision juice right here, which I'm going to take a drink of right now. I have not read any of this, so this is the first time going through this, so you'll be experiencing it along with me. The book itself starts with kind of the rules of the game. They are pretty simple. Then we have our characters, Agnes and Nathaniel and Rex. And then we go, whichever character you start with, then you have something to read. So let's get straight into Rex Murphy, the reporter. The lead to another story lost, this time because the astrophysicist appears to have upped and gone. Certainly, no one at the Warren Observatory seems to know where Dr. War was when you questioned them earlier this afternoon. You're lucky that Doyle Jeffries, editor of the Arkham Advertiser, seems to like you. Otherwise, you're not sure how much longer you could last in this town. You stare at the swirling mud-black liquid as you stir your coffee. Then, when you're sure none of the diner's staff are looking, you take out a bottle of whiskey, of course, and quickly pour some into your cup before returning the bottle to your coat pockets. As you sip the booted beverage, you console yourself, with the fact that Velma's Diner is somewhere that even the most rookie reporter could sniff out a story. And so you wait. Now, I believe this means I get the whiskey bottle as something on my character, so I'm going to simply write down under items, I'll put whiskey. Okay. And then we turn to 1. All right. Velma's Diner is a popular hangout in the town of Arkham. It provides precisely what its clientele expects of a diner: hot coffee, hearty home-cooked food, and a place to rest out of the wind and rain. But it's not the kind of place you can stay forever. Through the windows, in the world beyond the diner, you see the sun creeping towards the fir-lined hills to the west of Arkham. It's time for you to leave. You begin gathering your things when a raised voice when a raised voice take hold of your attention and your eyes lock on one of the booths where two older people are sitting. One is a grey-bearded man while the other is a thin, spiky woman, her silver hair cut into severe bob. Their clothes are not only befitting of their advancing years, but also suggest that they are of an academic persuasion. Okay. You know the type well. There are plenty to be found in Arkham. As if aware that the heated exchange has drawn your attention, the woman gives you a caustic stare before lowering her voice and resuming her intent discussion with the man. You may not be able to hear what she is saying, but from her body language, the way she leans forward, her shoulders hunched, one index finger stabbing at the air, it is clear that she is unhappy about something. The man, on the other hand, has assumed an aloof attitude towards their exchange and seems to say barely anything in response to the woman's tirade. Between them are two empty mugs and a plate smeared with grease. The unclean crockery is attracting flies and always seem to manage to sneak into the diner through the open doors and windows. However, their presence seems unusual at this time of year. One scuttles about the table, no doubt dining on the scattered sugar crystals that dust the melamine surface. As you watch, you become hypnotized by its unpredictable jittering dance and are startled when the woman slams her hand down on top of it in a moment of impassioned anger. Okay, as the man mutters something back at her, she pulls her hand back and in the blink of an eye puts her finger to her lips as if passing something to her mouth. Ew. This action happens so quickly you wonder if it was all in your imagination, but when you glance back at the table, the fly has gone. You feel a strange twist in your stomach. You have been exposed to unexplainable strange behavior before, and it never ends well. No matter how peculiar the town of Arkham is, it is still your home, and you feel compelled to protect it, no matter what. But did you really witness the old woman eat a fly? I fucking hope not, but I think so. Your ruminations on what you did or did not see are a matter of fleeting seconds as the woman abruptly stands. Clearly, whatever the old man said has drawn things to a conclusion. She storms out of the diner. Mere moments later, having deposited a crumpled dollar bill on the table, the man follows, but you do not get the impression the woman has waited for him, or will wait for him. Sorry? It is only after the couple have left and the diner door has swung shut behind the man that you notice a notebook lying on the floor next to the booth where the pair was sitting. It is nothing like the notepads used by those who wait tables at the diner to take customers' orders, so you can only assume one of the academics must have dropped it. Without drawing attention to yourself, you approach the table and, crouching down, pick up Dr. Blaine's notebook. Okay, I'm going to write that down on my paper. All right. Flicking through it, you see that the pages are filled with handwritten notes in a language you don't understand. So, if you want to take a moment to study the jotter more carefully, turn to 45. If you want to leave the diner in pursuit of the academics and return the notebook to its rightful owner, 75. So, all right, what would I personally do in this situation? Would I read the notebook or would I try and return it? As an academic myself, I know that had I lost a notebook, I would want it to be returned. But as an asshole, I'm going to read it. So I'm going to 45. The jotter is filled with esoteric scribblings executed in a careful hand, but all as unintelligible as they are beautifully written. Some pages are covered in picture script, but like nothing you've seen before, while others bear line after line of what looks like mirror writing, but which, when reversed, makes no sense. And then there are the drawings. That is never a good way to open a paragraph. One appears to be that of a curious vessel, shaped like a giant cicada and covered in more of the curious pictograms. Others appear to be anatomical illustrations, but of things composed of malformed claws, distended jaws, and too many eyes. Just looking at the crude images makes you feel uneasy, as if one of these hideous things is reaching out to lay a claw on you even now. You tell yourself you're being silly, but glance over your shoulder anyway, just in case. Take -1 sanity and +1 clue. Okay, sanity is down to 8. Clues are at 2 now. Okay. You dread to think what secrets the notebook contains, but you still feel an overwhelming urge to find out more, if only because of the strange behavior exhibited by the arguing academics. And you will remain ignorant of the truth unless you can find somebody to help you decode the symbols within. When you think of arcane symbols, there is one place that springs to mind. If you want to take Dr. Blaine's notebook to Ye Olde Magic Shop, if you want to chase the academics in order to return the notebook. Okay. Oh man, this is tough, but you know what? I've come this far. I've already looked inside it. I'm going to the magic shop. Let's go to 171. Okay. For all its decaying old world charm and quaint window displays of horoscopes and tarot cards, Ye Olde Magic Shop of Arkham hides its true nature in plain sight. Most who find themselves walking past the store have no idea that it is a haven for those practitioners of the esoteric arts, for want of a better phrase. Pardon me. Despite the late hour, Ye Olde Magic Shop is still open. As you enter the establishment, a bell rings somewhere nearby, and hearing clicking footsteps, your attention is drawn to the grey-haired woman who is now standing behind the counter. Okay, your gaze briefly flickers below to the counter's glass cabinets, which are full of esoteric curiosities. She wears a fashionable blouse and slacks and a startling amount of antique jewellery. Her reputation precedes her. This is Miriam Beecher, the proprietor of the magic shop. "Can I help you?" she asks pleasantly while fixing you with the most piercing eyes. In spite of any fears you might have about letting others know you are in possession of Dr. Blaine's notebook, you came here specifically to have someone help you decode its contents. Proffering Miriam the notebook, you ask if she can help you translate what is written within. She pauses before taking it from you and then gives a few of the pages a cursory glance. "As a rule of thumb, you should not meddle in things you do not understand," she says coldly, that piercing stare of hers unrelenting, especially here in Arkham. You explain that it is too late for that, to which she replies, "Then there will be a price to pay." "I have money," you tell her. "I do not mean money," she says, and you feel a chill creep into your limbs as goose flesh rises on your skin. Do you still desire to discover the truth no matter what it may cost you? Well, do you? If you decide it's time to leave the Olde Magic Shop before you find yourself writing a check your body can't cash, if you are prepared to pay to gain insight into the contents, like I said, I've come this far. I'm going to 161. No matter what it costs you, you must know what secret is hidden within Dr. Blaine's jotter. "Very well, follow me," says the venerable Miriam Beecher, and she leads you to a back room draped with mouldering curtains and threadbare gauzy drapes that make you feel like you've been transported into a down-at-heel fortune teller's tent, or, a Turkish brothel. She sits down on one side of a small table and invites you to take a seat opposite her. take the secret, the fortune teller. Okay. So, I have a secret, which I will just write at the bottom. And I'll just write fortune teller. Okay. What I'm about to share with you will change you forever, she says, placing Dr. Blaine's notebook between you. Once the door to knowledge has been opened, you will not be able to forget what you discover lies beyond, ever. Are you ready? Geez, melodramatic much? You nod to confirm that you are, even as you feel the shadows at the corner of the room thicken and swell. Do these symbols appear familiar to you? She asks, opening the notebook seemingly at random. If you have the ancient languages ability, which I do not. I do not have that. So I turn to 231. I've never seen anything like them before, you tell Miriam. I was hoping you might be able to tell me what they are. Take a look at them again, says the owner of the Yaldi Magic Shop. Do you see anything now? You stare at the curious sigils until they start to swell on the page before you. Make a pattern recognition test. Roll 1 die and add your intellect. You may spend 1 clue to roll 2 dice and pick the highest. If you have arcane studies, add 1 as well. All right. I'm going to roll 1 die, adding my intellect, which is 4. And I can spend 1 clue, which I'm not going to. I'm just going to roll a die and add 4, which is 6. Okay. So I chose, I could have rolled 2 dice there and picked the highest. I chose not to. What would have happened had I rolled a second die? Nah, same thing. Doesn't matter. So my intellect plus the dice roll of 2 is 7 or less. So I turn to 271. I have an idea, the proprietor of Yaldi Magic Shop says, a goalless expression on her face. Leave the notebook with me and I'll see if I can decode it for you. What do you say? How do you feel about handing Dr. Blaine's notebook over? Okay. Do I want to give it away or do I want to keep it? Is she truthful? Can I trust this woman? You know what? I went to her. So I must trust her. So I'm going to go to 291. I'm going to give the notebook away. You hand Miriam Beecher the jotter. Strike Dr. Blaine's notebook from your character sheet and take -1 resource and -1 clue. Okay. And I don't have any resources anyway. So that really doesn't matter to me. Okay. Miriam Beecher tells you to come back tomorrow. And with that, ushers you out of the shop. Take the secret hocus pocus. Okay. So I take the secret hocus pocus and turn to 141. You leave ye olde magic shop, the bell jangling cheerily as you step over the threshold and back into the chilly night. However, you cannot shake the chill that has already permeated your bones since entering the shop. Spend 1 resource or lose 1 willpower. I don't have a resource to spend, so my willpower will go down to 2. You consider the words written on the flyleaf of the jotter. Perhaps it would make more sense to head for Miskatonic University instead. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. You've never played an Arkham game, but okay. By the time you arrive at Miskatonic University, night has spread its purple mantle over Arkham. The collegiate buildings are visible only as blocks of shadow, but with certain elements such as entrances and windows picked out by spots of artificial light and even occasional flickering oil lamps. But one building is more brightly lit than the others due to the presence of several police cars and other vehicles, their headlight beams on full, and that is the Science Building. Oh shit. Not only that, but a cordon has been erected around the entrance to the building, manned by a single police officer. Nearby, a huddle of people are in deep discussion. There are... Wait a second. 3 of the men are wearing peaked caps and uniforms of the Arkham Police Department, while the last is a tall man wearing a long trench coat. If you have police or detective, I don't. Attempt to sneak past the police cordon or talk to the policeman. Ooh. Sneak or talk? Rex Murphy's a reporter. He would talk to the policeman, I think. So he's going 81. Come on. Okay. You tell the policeman that you are here to see Dr. Blaine, but the mere mention of his name has them regarding you with suspicion. Feeling your face redden in embarrassment, you try to bluster your way out of a tricky situation, but become tongue-tied as the cops interrogate you on the details of your less than convincing story. The more you talk, the more you see the suspicion deepens on the policemen's faces. Before you know it, you are being handcuffed. Come on. As you suddenly find yourself on the top list of suspects in the murder of Dr. Devlin Blaine. There is little point trying to escape when the university campus is swarming with police, so you allow yourself to be led away and bundled into one of the cars, hoping that you'll be able to sort out this mess down at the police station. Take the weakness criminal and turn to 59. Okay. So I am cursed. And I am a criminal now. Alrighty. 59. On reaching the police station, you are rough-handed until you are standing in front of the custody sergeant ready to be processed and charged before finally being locked up. Unfortunately, no one seems interested in hearing your side of the story, and your claims of innocence and simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time go unheeded. If you have a pistol, I don't, so I go to 19. This is not looking good right now, I've got to say. Your fingerprints are taken. Record your inky fingers on your character sheet, all right? I'll put it over here, I guess. Inky fingers. And you soon find yourself locked in a holding cell in the depths of Easttown Police Station with all the other ne'er-do-wells who have been arrested this evening. A man with a ragged beard buried in a heavy overcoat snores in one corner, while an elderly woman dressed in a long patched dress and shawl sits on a bench staring vacantly in the middle distance. From one corner, sorry, I bumped the camera. From one corner comes the aroma of alcohol and worse, while the other projects an aura of faded splendor. Her shawl's clothes jewellery, and even her face, giving the impression that they were all gorgeous before impecunity and a life of hardship ravaged their beauty. You resign yourself, to a long wait before being able to speak with anyone who might be able to help you with your current predicament, and take a seat on the bench beside the woman. Rather unsettlingly, she's muttering to herself. He doesn't trust that Professor Needus, you know. She looks at you then. Her of the Life Sciences Department doesn't trust her one bit, and he's not too keen on that Dr. Wah either. He's an, what do you call it? An astrophysicist, she says, breaking up the word down into its component parts. He works at the Warren Observatory, but hardly ever leaves his office. Who doesn't, you ask, unable to help yourself? Trust them, I mean. Dr. Blaine, of course, the old woman says with a chuckle, giving you a nudge with her elbow. How does she know so much about Dr. Blaine and his associates? She suddenly grabs your hands in hers and her demeanour changes. She fixes you with a penetrating stare. I see darkness in your future. You gasp at this rather unexpected turn of events. Her behaviour both perturbs and intrigues you. If you want to pull your hands away, if you want to leave them where they are and see what happens next. Oh boy, you know what? I'm in jail. I'm just going to go with it, see what happens next. 159. You find yourself transfixed by the woman's gaze. There is something there moving in the pinpricks of darkness that are her pupils, and then she speaks. When the moon in darkness dies, then a new god shall arise. One from three shall claim the prize, one called from the burning pit that seeks the veil to split the last, the child its egg forfeit. The lilting chant sounds like a prophecy more than anything else. Take one clue and a secret cracked. Okay. So my clue goes back to 2. And I get the secret cracked. But the look in her eyes and the subtle power behind her words unnerves you. Make a fear test. Roll 1 die and add your willpower. You may spend 1 resources to roll 2 dice and pick the highest. If you have weakness haunted, deduct 1. Okay, I don't have the weakness. I don't have resources. Roll 1 die, add my willpower. 2. My willpower is 3. It's less than 9. So I turn to 199. It is no good. The old woman's stare is too intense, and what she is sharing with you is too terrifying to bear. You pull your hands free of her grip at last. As you do so, her shoulders sag and her hands drop into her lap. She looks utterly exhausted. She does not utter another word, but she does not need to. The truth she has revealed to you, and you know that they are truths, are enough to shake you to the core, lose one's sanity. My sanity is now 7. Okay, turn to 219. You have been in the holding cell for an hour when a police officer appears before the bars and calls your name. Looks like you have a guardian angel, he says, unlocking the cell door. Seeing the quizzical look on your face, he adds, someone has bowed you out. Who, you ask? I'm not at liberty to say, but if I were you, I wouldn't waste time worrying about who got me out of jail. I'd skedaddle as fast as I could. That sounds like good advice, and before you know it, you are wandering the streets of Easttown as the street lamps come on, wondering what to do now. It feels like there are powers at work behind the scenes, moving their pawns into position as if they are preparing for war or the fulfillment of some prophecy. And Dr. Blaine's notebook is what got you caught up in this mystery in the first place. Perhaps there is something in there that could help you, or perhaps there is some message you received that could grant you much needed insight. If there is, you will have 4 numbers associated with this piece of information. Add them together and turn to the section It has the same number as the total. Okay. I don't have any fucking numbers right now. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. So I've got to go to 259. Your investigation appears to have hit a dead end. With no idea what to do next, you have no choice but to go home. But as you walk the dark streets of Arkham alone, you cannot shake the feeling of impending doom that has settled over you. Take the secret, dead end, the end. Okay. Now, all right, so I'm kind of wondering if, as I was playing through this, I was reading out numbers that I should have been paying attention to. I honestly don't know. That kind of ended abruptly due to some bad choices. Thank you, Bad Decision Juice. But you know what? It really doesn't fucking matter. This was awesome. The replay value is there in the characters you use. There are 3 in the book, but you can go to the website and download different characters. Some of them are in the Arkham games from Fantasy Flight. Rex Murphy, of course, being the asshole of Eldritch Horror, because he's constantly cursed. Agnes Baker. But all in all, I really enjoyed that. I really fucking did. It ended earlier than I expected it to, and I failed every test that I made with my lovely dice here, but you know what? It doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's the story that matters, and this is really enjoyable. When I play this again, I'll just do the next path from the first option and see where it goes. There is replay value here, and I really appreciate that. So there you go. Rex Murphy, the worst reporter ever to work for the Arkham Inquisitor. Darkness Over Arkham. Would I recommend this as a game book? Hell yeah. This was fantastic. The writing is great. The gameplay is great. You kind of have everything on these character sheets if you don't want to damage the book. I really like this. Nothing more I can say. If you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell. We've got Kickstarters coming up, which you'll be able to see on the channel. But most importantly, tell all your friends about us and stay safe. Have a fantastic rest of your day. And you know what? Play a fucking game book, people.